Good afternoon, class of 2010. It's nice to see you all here. When Mohammed first told me that you wanted me to speak today, I was thrilled. It never gets old winning high school popularity contests. After a while, though, I realized that I had to actually give a speech, and then I kind of freaked out. So, Mohammed said that I should be funny. The problem is, I have no way of being funny without ridiculing teenagers. And that kind of seems like the wrong tone to take today, so I let that go. Although Mohammed was kind enough to say that if I did need to pick on somebody, I could pick on him, and if things feel like they're going badly, I will take you up on that. You'll know. Then more of my students started giving me advice. A bunch of them said that I should try to be poignant and try to make you cry. That was funny. But then Cassie Moy explained that what you really wanted was for me to cry. There's a history, of course. So, Cassie, I will try to thwart your plans today, but let's see how this goes. A graduation speech should have a big theme. This is a day that's about celebration and about great moments in your life. And I felt a little stuck for that. So I started thinking, what do I, a 37-year-old English teacher with twin boys and a mortgage, have to tell you, the graduates of the most prestigious high school in New York City? What do I know more about than you? I would like to speak to you today on the topic of having no idea what to do with your life. What do I know more about than you? Not having a plan, or having a plan and having to scrap it halfway through and pick up the pieces. You see, when I graduated from high school, I knew exactly what I was going to be. I was going to be a fancy professor. Maybe English, maybe history, but then I kind of realized that with history you have to memorize names and facts and stuff like that, so it was going to be English. And I stuck to this plan all throughout college. I was going to be a fancy professor. I never really thought about it. I just kept doing it. It wasn't until I was in graduate school that I realized I had no passion for higher academics. I was good at it. I could do it. But it wasn't anything I wanted to spend my life with. And it wasn't anything that I was going to make a real mark in the field. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I left. I quit. I was on a path for 20 years. School, more school, fancy job. And I just walked away from it. That was the best decision I've ever made. You don't have to clap, that's not sorry. I've done my share of laundry since then. I worked as an editor for 8 years because I could, and because I really liked the sound of it. You know, like I really liked telling people I was an editor. It sounded serious and important, you know, like it could tell people. But it didn't make me happy. It wasn't something I had passion for. And really, it wasn't until I decided to give teaching a shot, and until I came here to Stuyvesant, that I found something worth giving myself to. That I found something that truly defined who I was, a vocation. You might not know this, but your freshman year was my freshman year. When you were walking into Stuyvesant and you were scared and you had no idea where to go and there were people everywhere and you were just trying to figure out where you fit, that day, that first day, that was my first day as well. I was just as lost in the building. I was just as terrified by the hordes of students everywhere. I was just as clueless as to how how much work I would have to do in this place. And I remember my first day, my first classes at Stuyvesant. All of my students, they filed in quietly, and they sat down at their desks, and they took out these carefully organized binders. I think they're like Pokemon or like Disney princesses on them. And they looked up at me expectantly, waiting for me to say something worth writing down. I was absolutely terrified. Nothing in my experience as a teacher had prepared me for this moment. I had planned on half of the class being spent convincing everybody to sit down. But you guys saw something else. You guys wanted something else from me. I had never met students who were prepared, engaged, who were ready the way you were. I was scrambling that day to find something worth saying to you, something worth writing down in those little Pokemon binders. Because of your expectations of me, I had to raise my expectations of myself. And since that day, you have constantly set me scrambling to raise those expectations even higher. We have a wonderful and a capable faculty here, but the truth is, the reason we work so hard, and we work all the time. The reason we work so hard is to try to keep up with you. I'm a better thinker, a better leader, a better writer because of you. I'm a better person because of you. Thank you. But it's not just because of you. The faculty. Sorry. I'm glad I didn't too loud. The faculty at Stuyvesant is knowledgeable, serious, and inspiring. We help each other and we push each other to be better. I hope that you in your lives have the chance to work with people who are as inspiring as people that I work with every single day. It would take more time than I have today to list all of the wonderful faculty members at our school. You know who they are. I'd like to mention one in particular. Mark Henderson has been a mentor to me since I started teaching, long before I came to Stuyvesant. He's a good man, he's a kind man. Thank you, Mark, for everything that you've done for me and everything you've done for our students. But, like Tristram Shandy, I find that I have digressed from my original point. The value of not having a plan. You probably feel like you've completely changed in the last 4 years, and I know that feeling very well. In the last 4 years, I've started a family, I've had kids, I've grown a wonderful beard. I've become a completely different person because I've found things that I'm passionate about. Things that have come to define me in ways that nothing has defined me before. My wife, Elena, our sons, Sam and Ezra, and teaching English at Stuyvesant High School. You are some of the most driven people I've ever met, and definitely the most talented. You can win stock car races and get into Stanford, in your spare time. You can reduce a room full of burned out second-term seniors to tears with a story and a song. You can write sentences that are so funny and so true that it makes me want to throw down my pen and just give up writing forever. But because you're so driven, I sometimes worry that you're too focused on the path that you set for yourselves. That's why getting into college becomes this gladiatorial combat between you and your classmates. That's why we condone a culture of cheating. All that matters is the goal. The great college, the great grad school, the prestigious university, the prestigious job. Sorry. In getting to today's graduation, you've all proven that you're motivated. You can be real forces for good if you find a thing or two that you're passionate about. Use that motivation, use that drive, but don't assume that you have to be doctors, lawyers, or engineers to be important. A driven chef, a driven farmer, a driven teacher can make as much of a mark on this world as any number of doctors and lawyers and engineers who don't have the passion for their work. And please don't misunderstand me. I am not denigrating those professions. My wife is a lawyer, and she has done more to make this world a better place than I can hope to. But it's not because she's a lawyer, it's because she's passionate about what she does. My point is, you have to be clear about your motivations. It wasn't until I let go of my need to do something that looked good that I became able to do something that is good, both for myself and for other people. Like I said earlier, I'm a 37-year-old English teacher. I have, wife and kids and mortgage payments due every month. I sound like the main character in an Arthur Miller play, and not a happy one. But it's only recently, since I've met you, class of 2010, that I found my passions. I love my 41 minutes a day with you. I love my wife and my boys. That is where I'll make my mark. I'm not saying you should all run out and become teachers and have twins. Your parents would kill me if I said that. But I do hope you can find passions that will bring you the kind of fulfillment that I have. Just be ready for it to take some time. And don't be surprised if you find your true calling in someplace entirely unexpected. Congratulations, class of 2010. Take care. Make us proud.